You're really going to like this edition of CEOs You Should Know, because this particular CEO and his company has touched us all, especially during the pandemic.
This is Twin Cities CEO You Should Know, powered by iHeartMedia.
All right, welcome to another CEOs You Should Know. And first of all, tell us your name, title, and your company name.
Yeah, Archie Black, CEO of SPS Commerce.
Well, welcome. Thanks for being here. And I've heard that SPS Commerce is Minnesota's largest software company, but listeners might not actually understand what it is that you do. So tell us about your work.
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me here. We are an international company based in downtown Minneapolis, and we work with retailers, suppliers, logistics companies, anybody in helping product get to the end consumer. It's a network business, and we have about 2,000 people globally with about 1,100 of them in Minneapolis.
So how have things been different for you in the last 18, 19 months?
Well, first off, we're working from home, which is completely new for all of us, especially myself. And that's been a fantastic adjustment. I mean, the team has delivered results, and we have a lot of pressure on us. We have about 95,000 suppliers that are delivering goods to the American public. So especially last March, April, May, to onboard new suppliers to get product to a Costco, to a Target, to any of the 3,000 retailers in our network was an extremely important cause while people were adjusting to working at home. And I'm really proud that we did deliver on that, and the world shifted, and so did we.
Yeah, that's great. You probably touched all of us in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. I doubt if there's any listeners that have not used one of the products that uses an SPS solution.
Wow. Some companies really needed help. Some companies were more in a position to help. With the explosion of e-commerce, you were certainly in the latter category. Tell us about how your business helped retailers and suppliers pivot as their omni-channel businesses accelerated.
Well, I think there's a couple things that really happened last March, April, May. One was there were out of stocks, and retailers needed to find additional sources of product. And we have the ability to onboard suppliers extremely quickly. In the case of 1 to 2 hours last year, which compares to an industry norm of probably 4 to 7 weeks. And so you think about you're out of fresh produce and you're looking for another source of product, and you can get that new source of product very, very quickly and into the distribution center very efficiently, because there was a lot of strain on distribution centers. I think the second thing is e-commerce was moving very, very quickly, an acceleration of a already fast trend. And one of the things that happened was what we call drop ship. Retailers working with suppliers that will send product directly to the end consumer, which allows a retailer to have an extended aisle. Amazon will have endless aisle, but most retailers will have extended aisle. And so we saw document volume, the number of purchase orders, increase quite drastically. And as you can imagine, as that happens, things need to be even tighter and more efficient. So we saw an acceleration in document flow. We also saw an acceleration in new customers coming to SPS Commerce last year.
So that drop ship thing you were talking about, is that, did you just divulge a company secret? That 4 to 7 weeks into just a few hours, I mean, what can you tell me about that? That's amazing.
Well, we onboard exclusively for about 200 retailers globally, and that is a secret. It's not a secret of ours. We obviously are out trying to sell that.
Do you pick up the phone? How do you do that?
Well, first off, they've identified the supplier.
Okay.
But now we are making the distribution center and the whole supply chain automated. Because think about back last March, April. Yes, you could order product, but if it was out of your normal supply chain processes, sure, which were already strained, you really had a nightmare. And so we wanted to make sure that the retailers could use their normal processes. They could have barcode labels and receive product in the distribution center. I won't bore you with all the different logistics processes, but they need to do it in a very automated way, because they were probably short of labor. They probably had to socially space. They were probably concerned about actually touching packing slips.
Sure.
So all that put just an incredible pressure on retailers.
Amazing. Well, I know is you're our hero, right?
Well, thank you. Thank you to the 2,000 SPS employees.
Exactly. Have you always been interested in technology and retail?
I have always been very interested in technology just because it's such a great way to solve problems. But at the root of technology, for us, it's always solving business problems first, using technology, not the other way around.
Okay. So like an example of that?
Well, a lot of tech companies will go out and build great technology,
Sure.
but you don't really have a great business unless you're solving a big problem for a customer. And so we want to go out and spend time with our customers. Where are they going? What are they doing?
Sure.
What pains do they have? And then our technology team builds solutions to solve those problems.
You've been CEO for over 20 years. You've been recognized as one of Minnesota's most admired CEOs. What can you tell us about your CEO journey that might interest up-and-coming leaders, and what advice would you give them?
Well, it's been a fantastic journey at SPS. We've grown every quarter since I took over 20 years ago, which makes things fun. Winning is more fun than losing, I found.
Exactly.
And I would say enjoy the journey, but I think the biggest key for myself and my partner, Jim Fromey, who took over 20 years ago with me, is that we've always hired great people. We've hired great leaders that we've learned from. And so just keep learning from everybody around you is probably the biggest key. And they brought a lot of new ideas. They've come from different experiences because both of us have been at the company for 20 years. So asking us what other companies do, we haven't been in another company for 20 plus years.
Wow.
So we don't have that perspective. So I would say it's great people and have fun.
Tell us about the SPS Commerce values and culture, which I'm sure have changed a little bit in the last year and a half, but how does that play out in the day-to-day of your teams?
Yeah, I would say they haven't changed at all. They're core foundational. We have our mission, vision, and values. We have 10 values, and not surprisingly, the first value is employees come first. And I would think most listeners wouldn't be surprised that the second value would be obsessed with customers. Employees and customers are the two most important parts of any business. And then our vision has always been extremely tight. We are to be the retail network. So we've always been very, very focused as a business. And I think that's one of the keys for us is focus on people, focus on customers, and then have a very focused business.
Yeah, that's
and
very
that's been the
specific.
key, yeah.
What is on the horizon as you look forward to 2022?
2022 should be a really good year for SPS. I think we're seeing a higher adoption of our product. We're seeing an acceleration in our revenue growth, which is a fun place to be. We have a lot of onboarding of new employees. We've hired hundreds of new employees so far this year, and that's been a bit of a challenge, just finding and also making sure that they're trained and onboarded and feel like they're part of the team. So we'll continue to invest for the short and long term. One of our values is win today, win tomorrow. And so we're always trying to make sure 2021 is good, but we're about halfway through the strategic planning process for 2022. We'll wrap that up at the end of October, and we'll continue to be focused on our customers and our employees as we have in the past.
You're big into community, and you described your work as being about community. How does the work SPS does contribute to the community?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. One, we have our employees engaged in a lot of different activities, and we have a lot of different ERGs, BRGs as well. But the give back to the community through money, through time, through effort. We're very focused on education because that is our future. So we're sponsoring students at Cristo Rey, at Doherty College, at Genesis Works that are coming in and working at SPS Commerce, giving them the feel of a professional environment. And in Minnesota, I'll just make a plug. Minnesota, we have a pretty massive problem. So I'm fairly active in the education. We have the lowest reading rates for blacks in all 50 states. So we have a lot of work to do in catching up to the other 50 states.
With the global headquarters being in downtown Minneapolis, what are some ways that SPS Commerce and its associates are giving back to the local community?
Yeah, we just did a packed, I think it was 1,200 backpacks for students, which was fun.
Cool.
First off, it was fun just to be able to get people together and do something together. That was fun. And then again, we're sponsoring students. We're also involved in a lot of different give back opportunities.
That's awesome. What else would you like the Twin Cities community to know about SPS Commerce?
Well, I think two things. One, we are looking for employees. We're always looking for employees, and so it's a tough, tight hiring environment, but we've got a great culture. We're in a winning environment. a lot of opportunities for people to move up, a lot of promotions. We moved into our current space with 75 people, and now we have 1,100 in that space. So we're growing, which creates opportunities. And then we're always looking for new business as well. So if you're a supplier or retailer listening, we'd love to do business with you.
If I'm not already in the technology field in that space, what are some ways that I can get involved in your company?
Yeah, we have a number of different customer-facing positions. We have a number of implementation positions. We have customer support. And one of the things about a vibrant company like SPS Commerce that's growing is you can come in and within a year or two be promoted either up or laterally and move into different positions. So we have people that have started as customer success representatives and have done some coding on the side, and now they're senior software developers. So there's a lot of opportunities. We'll train people. We'll work with you while you're doing your current job. And I think there is a lot of opportunity to just move around in your career, which is one of the reasons why people like staying and working at SPS Commerce, because there is a lot of opportunities and you don't have to stay in your lane the rest of your life.
If you don't have a degree, or if you don't have a degree yet, how does that play out at SPS Commerce?
Yeah, of course, the experience matters. It's either some experience, or a degree. We say experience first and a degree second.
Great. So what are some other ways you've helped the community?
Yeah, one of the things we just started this year was a scholarship for a young black man who is a freshman, and we're supporting him both financially, but also our Black Business Resource Group is supporting him with services around and mentoring him and taking him under their wings. And next year we'll have our second, and the next year we'll have our third, and then we'll eventually ramp to 4 students. So the Black Business Resource Group at SPS Commerce is extremely active, and I'm extremely proud of them as well.
Great. How could we get a hold of you? How can we find out more about the company?
The best place to find us is on our website, spscommerce.com.
Archie Black, CEO of SPS Commerce, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Adam.
Again, it is Archie Black from SPS Commerce. And if you do go to the website, spscommerce.com, now that I look at it, there is a wealth of information about the company and also about careers and conversations with retail professionals and the best practices in EDI and lots more. So once again, I want to thank Archie Black from SPS Commerce. That website again, spscommerce.com.
That was Twin Cities CEO You Should Know, powered by iHeartMedia.